Good morning, everyone. My name is Don Daniel, founder of Pill Method International, and we are live today in the Black Think Tank Club. We're sharing all of this knowledge about how mortgages and student loans and credit cards and car loans, how they actually work, and how you don't have to pay all of that interest to the bank. You can cut your interest cost by 75%. I'm excited today because we have a couple of powerhouse moderators on the stage with me. I've got Miss Kenyatta, who's going to be introducing herself, and we have Flame Newton on the stage, credit expert extraordinaire, and we're going to be bringing the energy this morning, and we're going to be bringing the truth. Miss Kenyatta, what's your truth this morning?
My truth is I am so excited to help everyone under the sound of our voices to get money, whether it be for financing their fixer-upper, whether it's because they want to actually get into the real estate game, whether it's to grow and scale their business. I am here to assist. Hello, good morning, everyone. My name is Kenyatta. You can find me at kenyatta10k.com. And I am happy to be a part of the P.I.L.L method as the official lender.
Kenyatta, you can't stop there. You can't stop there now. You talk about you can help people who are interested in getting business loans for whatever business reason. You can get them the money. You are the you're the money person. You're the money woman.
That is true. I do not want them to use their own money like I did to finance all of my business endeavors, hair salons, boutiques, you name it. I did it with all my money, and you guys, there's a better way, and I would love to show you how.
Kenyatta, one more thing. I got another question for you. What if my credit score isn't all that good?
That's just one element to the equation. Most times it might not even matter.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. You mean there is a way, there's a brand of lending out there where credit score may not even matter?
That is correct, Don. And bank statements and tax returns.
What? Listen, there's so much to be learned about this thing, folks. So if you need money for your business idea, whether it's for real estate, whether it's for Turo cars, whether it's for, I want to start my a beauty salon. And you know a little bit about beauty salons too, don't you, Miss Kenyatta?
Yes, I do. As being an owner of two, I absolutely know that process. I know how much equipment you actually need, working capital, all of it. And so that is one of the easiest things to do, you guys. But also, Don, I don't want to make the Etsy sellers upset. I can actually finance hobbies as well.
Wait a minute. That's something new. What are you talking about?
So maybe you're not quite a business yet, but maybe you like to make candles. Maybe your thing is to make natural soaps or, health products. Well, I can fund those transactions as well.
And then they can learn how to turn it into a business.
Absolutely.
Wow. So folks, hang around here. If you have some questions even about that, go ahead and get ready to raise your hand to come up. I got two shares in here. And listen, I'm getting ready to bring Flame on. And I just know he's going to mention, we got 33 people in here and two shares. But I want Flame to come in and bring the energy and tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do, Flame.
Oh man, listen, man. Hold up for a minute, man. What's going on here today? I want to find out. What's going on with y'all today, baby. Hey, come on, somebody. I need y'all in here right now. Hold up. Hey, we in the P.I.L.L method, baby. Y'all know what's happening. Hey, let me see them number nines in the chat right now. If God woke you up this morning, let me see number 9 in the chat. Let me see who awoke in here. Let me see who God awake. Did God wake somebody up this morning? If God woke you up this morning, let me see that number 9 in the chat. If God woke you up this morning, let me see the number 9 in the chat, baby. Come on now. Hey. Hey, hey, that's right now. I see the number nines now. Oh, hold up. Okay, now I see the nines. Hey, tell me where you from. Somebody put your city in there. Where you representing from today? When you waking up from? What city? Is Dallas in the building? Is Houston in the building? Is New York City in the building? Is Jacksonville, Florida in the building? Tell me where you from. Name your city. Is Chi-Town in here? Oh Lord! Don't tell me somebody from LA up here this early. Oh no, we rocking, baby. That's how we do it, baby. It's the P.I.L.L method. Y'all know what's happening. Hey, hold up. Pause this damn music, boy. You done lost your mind. Pause for a second. Ain't number two shares in this room. It ain't number two shares. Like real. Like it ain't number just two shares. Like folks ain't sharing the room. Oh, okay. Boy, I tell you what, listen, this ain't the room for it now. If you got selfish behavior, this is not the room for it. Hey, I'm gonna tell you what selfish behavior is. Selfish behavior is Mr. Don coming into this room and talking about his life and not sharing how you can get out of a home in 7 years. That's selfish behavior. You know what I mean? Unselfish is Mr. Don coming in here showing the whole world how you can get out of a home in 70 years. Listen, I get it, man. It's a great accomplishment. Great accomplishment for you buying a home. But do you got the deed? Do you got the deed? Do you got the deed is the name of the question. They say this is the room where we talk about the deed. There's no room on this Clubhouse platform. There's no room on this Clubhouse platform. There is no YouTube video. There is no Google search that tells you how to get the deed. Mr. Don is the only room that talks about how you can actually acquire the deed. And we only got 8 shares in the room. Y'all, no. Mr. Don can't even talk unless we got 20 shares. He can't even utter his mouth. His words try to come out, but it can't come out. We got to get 20 shares. We got to put this in the hallway, period. That's just what's got to happen. Listen, how you do this thing is you go to the bottom, right? You hit the share. But this is for newbies, right? You hit the share button, right? And what you're gonna do is making sure that you share the room. You share the room. It's just that artifacts of how that stuff works. You share the room. You know what I mean? Listen, Kenyatta can come in here, and it's Flame and Kenyatta got 2 things going on, right? Just so you know. We can help you acquire the home, but it's only Mr. Ice that can help you get the goddamn deed. To get you the deed. Now, if you want to get the deed, let me see the number 9 in the chat. If you want to get the deed to your home, put number 9 in the chat. If you want the deed to your home, put the number 9 in the chat. Come on now, let's get this room shared, Mr. Don. Here you go.
Thank you very much, Flame. Listen, folks, we're going to be talking about some things this morning. I mean, it is going to be powerful this morning because we are bringing this information to the Black Think Tank one more time to get this information out. Not just what we're doing here to teach people how they can eliminate debt, but we're also putting it on live stream so you can actually see what's going on. Miss Kenyatta, if people want to see what I'm going to be talking about this morning, let's go ahead and put that in the chat and put that in the chat and tell them how they can see what's going on. Miss Kenyatta.
Good morning, everyone. You do want to see these examples. Go to ice10kvideos.com and it'll take you straight to YouTube where you can like, comment, subscribe, and share. I really strongly advise that you go ahead and use another device like a tablet, laptop, desktop, so that you can still be a part of the conversation here on Clubhouse. But if you prefer to be on one site, let it be YouTube then, and go ahead and there's a comment section there as well.
All right, thank you so very much. So, folks, Flame, you did go ahead and you did pump up the room. We got 13 shares, but please tell us who you are and what you do. Please do your intro.
Man, listen, man. My name is Flame Newton. I'm the founder of the School of Credit and Access to Money, where we talk about personal and business credit, where we have one objective involvement. That is actually getting you money. So for you guys that don't understand what that means, There's only two ways to come out of a bank. There's only two ways you can come out of a bank, right? Talking to you by a person that's probably been in more banks than anyone that's been on Clubhouse. Now, what does that mean? You could come out of a bank with a folder, or you could come out of the bank with some money. Now, the folder is telling you everything that the bank has to offer, right? And it tells you all the different accounts that they have, and it tells you everything about the banking institution. Or you could come out of there with some stone whole hard cash. And that's what we talk about. We get you actual money. Now, if you're looking for a $10,000 credit card or a $20,000 loan, I am not the guy for you. Zero. I am not. Right. But if you're looking to get somewhere in the neighborhood of $250,000 or upwards or more, in that neighborhood, 118,000, 220,000, right? That's what we're about. So we actually able to help you get the actual money. And that's what we're about with the School of Credit, right? We teach you all the principles about credit. I'm also author of the book of the School of Credit. Um, Basically, for you guys that don't know what this means, I'm the only author in American history. The only, I used to say first until I got corrected. I am the only author in American history that has a book about credit in two languages as recognized by the Library of Congress. I didn't say nobody else had two books about credit. What I did say was I'm the only author recognized by the Library of Congress that has a book about credit in both the English and the Spanish languages. So with that being said, back to you, Mr. Don.
Wow, that is powerful. Listen, folks, here's what you've got on the stage today. You got somebody who's an expert on credit, on how to get your credit in shape to actually obtain credit. We have a lender who specializes in how to get people how to get the loans, all right, to get the loans from Flame. Are going to get you in Flame will get you in shape to get the loan. Then Miss Kenyatta will help you to get the loan. All right, whether you need the loan that requires credit score, or maybe you can get a loan that does not require credit score, bank statements, or tax information. There is business lending out there that you can get that doesn't require, again, credit score.
Oh, Don.
Tax statements.
Don,
What?
let me blow.
Come
let
on.
me blow everyone mind.
Please do.
I even have loan products, you guys, that is 100% acquisition, meaning 100% for the actual house and 100% rehab. So you come in the deal with absolutely no money.
What? You can get a real estate deal with no money out of pocket?
Yes.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Listen, if you're not trying to hit her up on the back channel, say, how can you help me? So go ahead, tap in with Flame, tap in with Miss Kenyatta, and then when you get everything in place, guess what else you can do? Pay off that loan. Pay off that loan in a lot less time. And you don't have to refinance. You don't have to make extra money. You don't have to sacrifice lifestyle. You can pay off everything in an average of 7 to 9 years by cutting your interest cost by 75%. That's right. You're going to be learning the truth about lending today. And if you have a question, please come up to the stage and see how all of this can work for you. But now, just to help you out, I'm saying that you can pay off all of your debt in 7 to 9 years. But we actually have a brand new celebrity endorsement that says, I actually paid off all of my debt in 4 years. Yes, it is possible to do it in 4 years, pay off mortgages and everything else in 4 years. And we have a celebrity endorsement. Generally, I just tell you who it is up front. But what I want you to do is, if you're in here, you can see him. But if you're listening on Clubhouse, you can hear him. You may recognize who this is. Roll tape.
Listen to me, y'all. But one of his mentees took us through one of their programs, and I paid off my mortgage. But guess what happened? My marriage went to a whole nother level. And you know why? Because my wife is a security freak. And even when I blew up, my wife would be like, oh, you blew up, but how long is you gonna keep making this kind of money? I was like, I don't know, forever. She's like, you sure? Because I'm gonna keep my license as a nurse just in case you don't. So when I paid the house off, my boy was like, you ain't gotta do that, you can do this. But when I paid the house off using that program, it took the stress level all the way down for my wife because we no longer had a mortgage. Does that make sense? That thing that was coming every month, that was getting on her nerves, we didn't have that no more. And so she was at rest.
So, folks, we just learned you can get 100% loan from Miss Kenyatta in certain instances for real estate development. You can get your credit in shape with Flame. You can work with me to pay off everything, even student loans that have been hanging around like household pets forever. Our average client gets rid of their student loans in 5 to 7 years. I mean, paid off completely in 5 to 7 years. Why? Because we show you how not to pay all of that interest. Let me give you an example of of what I'm talking about this morning. I'm going to put an example on the screen of how we have helped people in certain situations that you wouldn't think we could help. Oh my goodness, on how to save money on interest and how to pay off these loans. So I'm putting on the screen right now. If you want to see this, listen, you want to see this. I have some people online right now that can see what we're talking about. But if you want to see it, if you're close, if you're new to the room, Flame, we got 15 shares. We got some people who are new to the room, and they may want to see how one of my clients paying off their loans in record time. So let's see if we can get a few more people in here.
Hey, listen, I need you guys right now. If you're in the room right now, if you're in the room, I need you to go to the top, and I want to make sure that you guys are hitting the link at the top, right? Which is ice10klive.com. So that's one of the first things that I do want you to do is hit that link, right? Now, as well as you go to that link, right, this is where he's going to be presenting. And this is where you're going to get the information. But notice I said you. That means yourself will be there. So what we're going to do is we're going to make sure that you have other people that are surrounded by you and your love, right? That they're actually going to be there as well. So some people follow you, right? And what they do is wherever you go to, they'll follow you to that particular place. Now, what we're going to do is make sure that we direct them to the same place. In order for us to do that, we're going to have to put this in the hallway. The hallway is where when you come in, you find out what's the list of rooms where people are at today. And when they're trying to find the room that you're in, right, we're going to make sure that we do that. Now, how do we do that? We're going to go to the bottom. And we're going to hit the share button. You see that bottom where the thing is, where the arrow is, right? Let's making sure that we share the room. Listen, right now we got 17 shares. Let's push this room right now to 25 shares. So what I need you guys to do, if you can hear my voice at any level, so I don't, if you're in the bathroom, maybe you're at the stoplight, only if you're at the stoplight, right? Or if you're in the driveway of the car or the house, maybe you might be in the bed with your mate. What we're going to do at this moment is we're going to share the room. We're going to put this room into the hallway, right? So what we're going to do is going to go down to the bottom. I need you guys, let's do this together. Let's practice this together. So take your thumb, go down to the bottom, hit the share. Boom. Once you hit the share button, when you go to the room, what you're going to also do next is after you hit it, you're going to share it to either you're going to share it to your social media pages, let people know whether you're on Facebook or Twitter and that sort of thing, or you just want to share it on Clubhouse. So you're going to hit that share button, right? And you're going to talk about what you're going to learn today, right? Some of the stuff that you're going to get, right? Now, once you're able to do that, then you're going to put this into the hallway. That is a method of which we're able to do. We got 18 shares in a room. I'm looking for 25 shares in the room. Listen, there's 32 people in here. There's no fact in matter that we got 7 more shares of this room. So let's work together. Together, I said. I didn't say me. I didn't say you. I said let's work together. Let's get these 5 more shares up. Thank you. We got 20 shares now. So let's get 5 more shares in this room. Let's get to 25 shares right now. Back to you, Mr. Don.
Thank you very much, Flame. Listen, folks, I'm going to put something on the screen right now, and you should be able to see what we have here. If you want to see it, Miss Kenyatta, she can also tell you how to get there, and we're going to put it in the chat also. But she says, go to ice. 10kvideos.com. And Kenyatta, I love how you do that. Can you encourage them to come and see this example, please?
My pleasure. Everyone go to ice10kvideos.com. That's videos with an S. And while you're there, go ahead and like, comment, subscribe, but most importantly, share. It is very imperative that we get this information out to as many people as possible. Thank you in advance.
We have 30 people in here, and I want to applaud you right now. Because you are getting ready to hear something that most people never get to see. Did you realize that 9 out of 10 people you know will never pay off a mortgage? Never pay off a mortgage. 9 out of 10 people you know. They will die with a mortgage. And it is not necessary because we can learn the rules to the game. A single mom came to me, and this is what we have on here. Single mom came to me not too long ago. She was referred to me because she is recently divorced with children, has a good job, but never had a mortgage on her own. She did not want to go to a rental space with her children because they had to sell the other house in the divorce. She did not want to rent. She wanted for her children to be able to experience being in their own home, in their own bedrooms. 2 children. So she needed a house with 3 bedrooms, okay? 2 bathrooms and a half bath, 2.5. So she found that house, okay? But she was wondering, could she afford to pay it off and still provide the lifestyle that she wanted for her children so that they can live well? So her children did not have to hear, we can't afford that, honey. Yeah, I know you want to go here with your friends, but we can't afford that. I know you want to be on the travel teams, but we can't afford that. I know you want dance lessons and piano lessons, and I know you want to go out and do these things, but we can't afford that. She didn't want to be able to say that. She didn't want to have to say that. She wanted to say, can I afford the house on what I'm making and still do these things with my children? I said, tell me about it. Let's see what we can work out, because we do what's called a savings and earnings report for all of our clients. Submit your information and we will do the report and tell you how it's all going to work out for you years in advance. So here's her situation. She has a mortgage of she had found a house for $156,000. Okay. She got it under, this was back in 2017. Got it back in 2017 when you could still get houses, a great house at a good deal. All right. So she got a great house. She moved in with equity. This is her thing. So I told her, in 5 years, here's what normally happens in 5 years in your neighborhood. In 5 years, you will pay this mortgage down by $14,949.52. Okay. All right. So you would pay it down by $14,949.52, and you will pay $29,879.48 in interest. I said, is that how you want to spend your money? She said, absolutely not. I want my money to go to my kids, not to the bank in interest. I said, let's see what we could do about that. Okay. So in 5 years, this is what will happen. You will pay out $44,829 out of all of that money. Only $14,949.52 will go to pay down the mortgage. Here is the reason why. You're getting an interest rate of 4%. What that really means is that the bank wants 71% of what you borrowed. They want that in interest. Here's what we mean when we say that. If her loan was just $100,000, for 30 years at 4%. Here's how much interest the bank would want over 30 years on a $100,000 loan. $71,870 interest on a $100,000 loan. Let me repeat that. $71,870 interest on a $100,000 loan. Folks, how in the world is that 4%? It's not. But it's the game the banks play. How they take 4% and turn it into 71% is called amortization. And we show you how to beat amortization, how you can use your own budget. You don't have to make more money. She wanted to spend time with her kids, not going out. She's already working all day. She didn't want to go out and find a second job just so that she can afford for her kids to have some fun and pay for her home. She didn't want to do that. So instead of going out to get an extra job, say, let's see how you can cut your interest cost on this loan, so more of your money will go to principal and less of your money goes to interest. So here's what we're talking about, folks. Here's how much interest the bank wanted on this thing. $112,477.46 on a $156,000 loan. What? The bank wanted $112,000 interest on a $156,000 loan. In other words, they wanted her to pay, instead of $156,500 for her house, they wanted her to pay $269,000 for her $156,000 house. Is there anybody, Flame, I need you to go out there and ask some people. Please ask them if they want to pay $269,000 for a $156,000 house, and get some folks in here so that they can see this example, please.
Man, listen, man. Hey, do y'all understand when he just said the words that came out of his mouth, man? Powerful. Powerful, powerful, powerful words. Listen, let's make sure that we put this in the hallway. Listen, we got 25 shares. Man, thank you guys. Thank you guys on every level for the 25 shares that you guys have actually shared into this room, right? But let's make sure that we do share the room. Listen, I see Richmond, Virginia's in the building. DC's in here. Locust Grove, Georgia. Man, shout Locust Grove out. Man, put your city in the chat, man. Where you guys coming from this morning? I want to know where you guys are coming from this morning, man. What's your city? What's your area that you're coming from? Detroit in the building? Shout out to Detroit, man. I mean, Detroit got it going on, man. Powerful people out there in Detroit, man. Powerful. Florida's in the building. I like that. Florida is showing up. Florida is showing up and showing out. Listen, let's making sure that we're sharing this room into the hallway. Let's get that going. Hinesville, Georgia's in the building. St. Paul, Minnesota is in here. Boy, I tell you what, now when St. Paul's in the building, I know right now it's about to get cold in here, right? When I'm talking about cold, I'm talking about the fact that we'll get called ice cold. Speaking of ice, back to you, Miss Ice.
Thank you, Flame. Listen, folks, I'm going to go into this in some detail when we are ready to go into it in detail, but I want to give you some of the basics first. I want to give you some of the basics first on what's going on with this loan. Okay. So we're saying if she keeps this loan like the bank wants her to, she's going to pay this thing down by over $14,000 and pay out $29,000 in interest. Ouch. $29,000 in interest is what she's going to be able to pay. It's going $156,000. Wow. $156,000. So what did we do? What did she do instead? What did she do instead? So here's what we're looking at. I want to put this back on the screen. All right, let's scroll down. Let's take a look. Now, instead of paying $112,000, I showed her a way. She doesn't have to make any extra money. Okay. All right. Somebody online just said, let's put that on the screen. There's somebody online just said, I just purchased the book. Oh my gosh. Listen, if you just purchased the book, LeSabre Scott, we're going to show you how you can get a 10K card to go along with that. We're going to talk about that in just a minute. So, folks, here's what happened: is she's borrowed $156,500. All right, $156,500. The bank wanted her over 30 years to pay $112,477.46 in interest on it. We showed her how she could pay $28,000, 28,000 to pay off the 156,000 in 6.7 years. We showed her how to cut out over $80,000. $80,000 she didn't have to pay the bank. Now, the reason why we pay $80,000 extra that we don't have to pay, now that should be enough. That should be enough right there. How in the world is everybody else in the neighborhood who has a loan that's similar, that's paying their mortgage every single month, they get used to paying all that extra money and interest and then find out you really don't have to? Cutting her interest cost by $80,000, she can pay that home off in 6.7 years without sacrificing lifestyle, without going out and having to make extra money, without refinancing. She doesn't have to do any of that stuff. We showed her how to play the game. We showed her how to disrupt the bank's timing so that she doesn't have to pay all of that interest. If there's anybody out there right now that wants to know how she did that and wants to ask me some questions, please raise your hand, come up on stage and ask some questions about this situation or even about your own. But I'm getting ready to put another screen on. Listen, we're going to get into how in the world we can disrupt that. I've got a hand. All right, we're going to get a question here. I got to stop. Listen, questions stop everything. Okay. I love to get questions because I get motivated when people ask me questions. Mr. David, how are you doing this morning? And if you're speaking, sir, you're on mute. Go to that lower right-hand corner and hit that button so you can unmute yourself. And we got Dr. Amy. All right. I'll bring her up as well. Mr. David, what's going on, man? We can't hear you.
Well, since he's not speaking, I'll just say good morning. Good morning, Ice. Good morning, Flame. Good morning, Kenyatta.
Good morning, Dr. Amy. How are you this morning?
I am wonderful. It's very early where I am at. It's 5 o'clock in the morning, 5:30.
All right. So listen, while we're doing that, while we're waiting for our question, would you like to go ahead and introduce yourself and do a quick introduction and tell us who you are and how fabulous you are?
Thank you so much. My name is Dr. Amy Rucker. I am a global speaker, transformational speaker. I definitely operate in the relationship space. I've been a relationship counselor for the last 7 years, where I have my own practice in Las Vegas, amongst some other things that I do. And I'm just excited to be here and I want to ask a question too.
Well, listen, we're going to let ladies go first. Go ahead and ask your question, Dr. Amy.
So I'm listening, and I often see this room, and I try to pop in when I see it. And so, how to pay off your mortgage in 7 years. So I currently have a door. I have a total of 5 properties, but some of them are already paid off. But there's this particular one that I want to get it paid off as soon as possible because it's very, very. It's only a few $1,000s that I have, so I think I'm $60,000 left. So what would be some tips, or if you could give it out, because I know you probably teach it in your class, or what should be some steps that I should take in order to pay that down quickly? Should I just pay more on the principal? So I guess that would be my question.
All right, Dr. Amy, listen, any question you ask, here's what you will not hear in the P.I.L.L Method room, whether it's in the Black Think Tank or in the P.I.L.L Method room, but anytime we're open, you ask a question, you're going to get an answer. We're not going to hear, well, you got to pay the consultation fee to get that answer.
Okay, because I know this Clubhouse, and those people will you will definitely hear that.
Well, listen, you will not ever hear that in this room. Kenyatta, have you ever heard me say that? I mean, we're here. This is episode 110. Episode 110. In 110 episodes, in 109 episodes, have I ever said you gotta pay the fee to get that answer?
Haven't heard it.
Okay, so Dr. Amy, we're going to answer every question you have. We're going to answer about this situation. So here's the thing you want to think about, Dr. Amy. Let me ask you first. If your loan was 0% interest, think about it. If your loan was 0% interest, is there any financial benefit to paying it off early?
No.
Okay. So it's not about paying off the loan, is it? It's about saving interest, isn't it?
Correct.
Okay. So now the loan you had, was it a 15-year loan? Was it a 30-year loan? What was it?
30-year fixed, yes.
30-year fixed. And it looks like you were paying extra on that to pay it down faster, right?
Yeah. So yeah.
Okay. And how much did it start out as?
The payment?
The amount of money that you borrowed.
Oh, for this particular house,
Mhm.
It was during the recession. It was $130,000.
$130,000. So
it's at 69.
I'm going to put this on the screen. And so we're going to answer this question directly because there is no rule of thumb answer, Dr. Amy. What we need to take a look at is how much interest you have left to pay.
Okay.
And then you would look at, if I paid it off, how much interest would I save?
Okay.
And if the savings is significant, pay it off. But if the savings is not significant, that money might do better paying on another mortgage or investing in something else. So the time comes when we have to ask the question, is my money better suited to save me money in interest or to make me money in interest? Oh, now we're talking, aren't we, Dr. Amy?
Absolutely.
Okay, so now we've got $130,000. I'm putting this in my calculator here. And you remember, what's the interest rate on that loan?
I think at that particular time it was 4.25.
4.25. We're putting that in. And here's what I have. Now, if it's not exact, that's okay. I just need to have something that is close to it. So I'm putting that on the screen right now, so everybody can see it right now. All right. And if you want to see it, go to ice10kvideos.com on your separate device, and you can see what we're talking about. So right now, when this loan started, the bank wanted you to pay $100,000. Okay. So now if you paid it down to 60,000, where you have about $60,000 left.
Yeah, it's 69.
69.
Like it's a little under. Well, it might be like 68.
Okay, so we got $68,000 left on this thing, and right now your payments are your interest payments start out at around $242.72 a month. Okay, that's how much interest you're paying right there. So what I'm going to do is put another calculator up here. Okay. And we're going to start from right around $68,000. Okay. And then figure out with the same principal payment. So we're looking at a principal and interest payment of $747.15. Just principal and interest, $747.15. I hope we're in the neighborhood on that number. What do you think? Are we close?
I was trying to get into your live so I can watch you.
Oh, okay. So you want to go to ice10kvideos.com. That will take you to our YouTube channel, and you just click on the live.
Okay, hold on.
Okay.
I don't see that you. Okay, so I went to. Okay, so 10K videos.
Yep, Ice 10K videos.
Yeah, I clicked it from your your 10K card.
Oh,
The
you went.
debit.
You went to Ice 10K Live. Then you have to. Then if you go there first, then you have to choose. You have to choose which one you want to see. Then,
Yeah, it didn't take me to it for some reason.
all right. So, are you on your computer?
I'm on my other cell phone.
Oh, you're on the other cell phone. Okay. All right. Just come out of there. Go to your browser and just type in Ice 10K videos. That's the easiest way.
Okay.
Go to ice10kvideos.com and it'll take you there. And then
I see you.
Then click on the live. You could see your numbers on there.
Okay, yeah.
You got it?
Hey, yep.
So what we're looking at is $747.15 in principal and interest payments. That does not include taxes and insurance.
Mm-hmm.
I hope we're in the neighborhood. So I'm going to scroll down. I'm going to scroll down to, because of this, I can scroll down to right around where we have about $69,000 left on the loan. So I'm scrolling down there now to about 69,000, and that would take us down to line 248. Line 248. I'm kind of highlighting it here now. Okay. So if that's where we are, all right, you have a principal payment now of 512. Now more money's going to principal, less goes to interest. All right. We are at about $69,742.11. So I'm going to copy that. Watch this. We're going to duplicate this tab because I don't want to get rid of that information. I want to keep it. So we're going to go ahead. We have the same principal and interest payment, same interest rate of 4. Did you say 4%?
4.25.
Uh-oh. Got to go back. Got to make some changes. Sorry. Made a mistake. No, 4.25. We want to be, okay, 4.25. And now I got to recalculate this. So we take that out, delete that, and then recalculate. So here's our payment: $769.89. $769.89 at 4.25. Now we scroll right back down to where we see 69,000. All right. So when we see the 69,000, I want to show you something. All right, 69,000. There we are, 69,515 right there. Okay. On payment number 251. Okay. 251. Now, in that time, if you've just made minimum payments on the loan, you would have paid this loan down by $86,985. But it will have cost $106,000 in interest.
Oh, Jesus.
Okay. That's if you've just made the minimum payments. Okay. Now, out of $106,000, okay, $106,000 that the bank was looking for. All right. We're going to go back over to this. We're going to go back. We're going to switch screens. Okay. And we're going to put the 4.25. Okay. 4.25. All right. Do this again and calculate 4.25 on 100 and wait a second. I've got to go back here. Sorry. Yep. $156,500. Okay. All right. So 4.25. Let's take a look here. Here's how much interest the bank wanted. $120,000. They wanted $120,000 on this loan. But we're already down to owing $69,000, where $106,000 of that interest has already been paid. You see?
Yeah.
So there's not a whole lot left. If we take a look at that, so I can take this 69,515, okay? I can copy that. I can go ahead and pull this up, Okay. And okay. And then we're going to put this in here. So we're going to go ahead and put that in how much we owe. We're going to
Okay.
paste that in here. We're going to get rid of that comma because commas don't work in here. Still at 4.25. We're going to take out how many payments we have left. Delete that. Okay. And then we're going to, I can't remember our principal and interest payment. It was $769.89. $769.89. So we put that in here. $769.89. Right. And then we calculate how many payments we have left. We have 109 payments left. See that? Well, it's coming up now. Right now, 109 payments left. And we scroll down to see how much interest we have left to pay. $14,400. If you paid that loan off today, that's how much interest you would save, which is significant. But is there another loan you could put that money on to save even more interest? Or could you take that $69,000 and invest it and make more money than the $14,000 you would save by paying it off today?
I don't think I understood the question.
Okay, one more time.
60,000.
So if you paid off the $69,000 today, all right, not just even paying a little bit extra over time to pay it off faster, but if you just eliminated it today, then the bank would not get $14,400 in interest.
Correct.
That's how much you could save.
Correct.
So is there a place where you can put $69,000 where you would make more than $14,000? That's the question with the money.
I'm sure there is.
And that's what you need to know when you're paying off a loan. We get so focused on paying off the loan that we don't see what our benefits are for paying off the loan. The benefit of paying off the loan is how much interest would I save? Once I know that, then I can figure out what do I want to do with that money? Do I want to pay off the loan and save $14,000? Or do I want to take my $69,000 and invest it someplace else where I could make more than $14,000? Because right now you have 109 payments left. I'll put that on the screen, 109. So do a little quick math, 109 divided by 12. We have approximately 9 years left on the mortgage. About 9 years left. So if I were to invest the $69,000, would I make more than $14,000 over 9 years? Or
probably.
Yeah. So if I have a renter in there, I might as well just go ahead and make the minimum payments. And say, well, Don, that'll cost me $14,000. Well, what if I said we're going to invest $14,000 and make $100,000 with it? So if I pay somebody else $14,000 and I can make $100,000 with my money instead, I have to subtract the $14,000 that I paid and then subtract it from the money that I made. So it's an arbitrage play. So that's where we have to find out. Now, if you had no more debt, if this is the only debt you had, I would say then focus on reinvesting that money. Let's just say I don't have another investment I'm interested in right now, Don. I'm okay. Everything's cool. Then I would say save the $14,000, as much of it as you can, and pay this loan off as quickly as you can and save the 14 grand. There's no need to keep giving the bank money when you don't have to.
Okay.
So you just have to figure out, do I want to pay the loan off or do I want to invest that $69,000 somewhere else? And if I do, how much money can I make with it potentially? And we'll be glad to work with you on that. So what do you think? Based on what you know to be true about you, based on the numbers you see here, what are you more likely to do? Invest the 69,000 or pay the loan off?
Probably both.
Okay. So you want to say, how can I get the biggest bang for my buck? Find out what percentage I want to reinvest and what percentage of my money I want to go to pay off the loan.
Right.
Okay. Then that takes a whole bunch of math. So I'll be glad to work with you on that to find out what's going to be, take a look at your situation and see what's going to be best for you. I want this much of my money to go towards developing more doors. I want this much of my money focused on saving interest. Our program is perfect for that. And there is no rule of thumb for that, Dr. Amy. I wish I could tell you, but because each person's situation is going to be different, we want to come up with a plan that's going to be specific to you and your situation and how it's going to work out for you. And that is going to take some time to work out, but it can be worked out. So you can figure out what percentage of your money does what so that you don't miss a trick. Now we're talking about opportunity cost. How can I use my money to make as much money as I can and save as much money as I can? And what percentage goes where? That takes some math, it takes some work. And I would never tell anybody, here's your rule of thumb for that. Here's what you would do in all cases. Now, there is a person out there who tells the people to do the same thing. His business is in Nashville, Tennessee, and he gives everybody the same advice. I don't recommend that. I recommend getting the advice that works for you. Dr. Amy, what do you think?
Absolutely. Get the advice that works for you.
So I hope this made some sense for you.
No, it made sense with me watching you on the computer, because had I not watched it, it would probably been a little different.
Yeah, these numbers you really do have to see. And, we have a lot of experts who know what they're talking about online. But when it comes to advice on how to deal with mortgages, they give blanket information without showing the numbers. And one of the things that people are talking about right now, Dr. Amy, is the high interest rates. And they're saying, go ahead and purchase your house now, even at the higher interest rate, because you can always learn how to make money you can make money in any market. Okay. You just have to buy it right and rent it right. But when the interest rates get better, they mean by when the interest rates get lower, refinance into that lower interest rate. Have you heard that advice before?
No, because every time all the houses that I bought, it was a recession, so I always got them at the houses had more equity than they did the value, the price of the house.
Mm-hmm.
And so God always made sure that I was put in good situations. So no, I haven't heard that advice, not for me per se. I'm sure it's out there, but it just wasn't something that happened to me.
Good, good, good. Because what we're dealing with now is interest rates that are hovering at 6%, 6.25%. That's what this interest rates are now. And so the experts are telling people, if you buy a house now, even though it's cash flowing, you can get a better interest rate later and then refinance into that.
Yeah, but the headache of a refinance is crazy. They have to make sure their credit is still good during that particular time. With refinances, I do believe that you can't have not missed any type of payments within probably a year. So there's a few stipulations that I pray they're telling the people in the process too.
Well, not only that, but here's something you all need to know. If you're a real estate investor and if you get in at these higher interest rates, you are better off at the higher interest rate than the lower one. Never, ever, 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 ever. If you're a real estate investor, don't ever, 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 ever refinance to a lower interest rate thinking you're going to save money. You just put yourself in a worse financial position. Guaranteed. every single time.
Can
Never
you
go
explain
ahead.
why that is?
I,
At the higher rate, why would they be in a worse situation?
I'd be glad to.
I'm sure somebody in the room wanted to ask that, so I'm asking. Since I'm
Miss
up here.
Dr. Amy, I was just hoping somebody would ask that. All right, can we take this let's take this this example here, okay? I'm going to scroll back up to the top of the screen, and we have $156,500 that I was working with my client. $156,500, okay, at 4.25%. All right, 4.25%, 156,005 at 4.25. And the payment on that is $169.89. So we're going to calculate that, make sure that I have it right. Okay. And we're going to close this up. All right. And close that one up. And then we're going to open up again, open under a new tab. There we go. All right. So 156,500 at 4.25. Now, if we were to learn how to eliminate this interest, so this is at 4.25, let's go ahead and make it 6.25. Okay? Because that's what the interest rates are now. Let's go ahead and make it 6.25. And the payment is $963.60. I need to scroll down here and take a look at the payments and let everybody see. When we're making that very first payment, look how much of the money, over $900 paid out, only $148.50 goes to principal, $815 goes to interest. Dr. Amy, how does that make you feel?
I didn't see the numbers because I didn't get my other phone. Somebody was texting.
Oh, that's okay. So $148.50 goes to principal. $815 out of that payment goes to interest.
No, that makes me feel no.
You don't like that?
No.
So here's why we need to learn how to read an amortization schedule. Are you ready? So if you can see this, let me know. If you can't see it, let me know, and then I'll know how to proceed. Can you see what I have on the screen?
Hold on, I'm trying to.
Okay.
Look now, 1 second.
All right, good.
Oh wait, I think you might be frozen. Wait, let me go back to this one.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I see. You have this payment principal interest that sheet.
148 going to principal, 815.10 going to interest.
Oh yeah, I can see it.
All right, good. So now I'm going to show you why this is better than at 2%, 2.99. Let's take it back to what it used to be just a few short months ago. All right. So I'm going to duplicate this tab. Same amount, not 6.25, but let's make it 2.99. All right. And show why this is better if you're a real estate investor, because now we're looking at a payment of $658.97 as opposed to $963. Well, already the 2.99 looks better, doesn't it? Okay. So here's what we want to take a look at, folks. Let's take a look at not just the payment, but more than the payment, because we get fooled by the payment. Another thing is that when the bank is comparing two mortgages, 2.99 or 6.25, they're doing it on a 30-year loan, meaning you have to keep the loan for all 30 years for the numbers that the bank is giving you to be true. So, Dr. Amy, are you interested in keeping a mortgage for an entire 30 years?
Yeah, I try to pay them off as soon as possible.
There you go.
Half the time.
All right.
15.
So if we could do that, then all the numbers that the bank was talking about don't matter because you're not going to pay all that interest anyway. So you want a situation that's going to put you in a favorable climate to pay the loan off faster. You don't want a climate that makes it harder to pay off the loan, correct?
Correct.
All right, so let's take a look at this loan again. We got $148.50 going to principal, $815 going to interest. Let's say we make this first payment in January. Okay, January payment is made. All right, and we're waiting for February. But if you look at this schedule, if you look at the principal payment, you can see the principal payment for February right now. So what's the principal payment for February here?
$1,433.
On number two payment?
You said the interest?
No, just the principal payment.
Oh, $149.27.
$149.27. Okay. Now, based on what you know to be true, do you have to wait till February to give the bank that $149?
No.
If you had it, could you give it to them in January?
Yeah.
And if you did, all $149.27 would go to principal, wouldn't it?
Right.
Which means you're paid down to line 2 in January.
Right.
Where you would owe $156,202.23. So your next mortgage payment for February would actually be on line 3 of the schedule.
Mm-hmm.
You just got rid of line 2. So you had a 360 month payment schedule, 360 monthly payments. You just turned it into 359 monthly payments with an extra $149.27. You eliminated line 2 completely for $149.27. Sound good?
Yeah. So pretty much you would suggest a person pay more on the, like, don't worry about the interest, but pay those principal payments. Like, okay, so the 69,000 that I have now, just start paying principal payment and it'll eliminate half of the lines on the interest side because I'm paying those other payments.
Exactly. But you don't want to pay too much towards that, so you lose opportunities to make money.
Okay.
Okay. So you want to pay the right amount on both ends, whether I'm going to pay off the loan or if I'm going to reinvest.
Yeah, because I remember them sending me like this statement and said, if you pay $900 today or by this date, you could save $6,000 in interest. So that would be something you suggest the person take and do?
No, I would find out exactly what's going on with every single thing that I do, because you want to find out how much interest I'm saving per dollar. So when you go to the store, are you just looking at, especially if you go to the grocery store, are you just looking at stuff? Or are you looking at what it costs per pound to help you to make a decision?
I didn't hear the question.
Okay.
I got a new iPhone.
That's okay. That's okay. So when you go to the grocery store, does how much something costs per pound enter into your decision making?
Absolutely.
Okay. So when you're paying something, so if you're used to paying, 99 cents a pound for something, and this week, because of a shortage, it costs $5.99 per pound, do you want to pay that?
No.
No. So when you're putting money on your loan, did you realize you can figure out how much interest you're saving per dollar, and you can manipulate that? So do you want to save some interest per dollar, or do you want to save the most amount of interest per dollar?
Of course, you want to save the most amount of interest per dollar.
That's where we're going with this, the most amount of interest per dollar. So in this position, what we have on the screen is I paid out $149.27. And what happened to this $814.33 in interest on line 2? What happened to that?
It got cut off.
It got cut off. We didn't have to pay that, right?
Right.
So what if we did this, paid January's payment, looked at our amortization schedule, and gave the bank an extra. We paid line 2, line 3, and line 4 in January. Gave them 149.27, 150.05, and 150.83. What if we did that? Gave them all three. What would happen to the interest payments on all three lines?
They would go away.
And your next mortgage payment would be on what line of the schedule?
Which number did you say? So then I'll know.
Yeah, we're at 2. We just paid off number 2, 3, and 4.
Okay, so then you'll be at 5.
Exactly. We'd be on line 5. Just like that, with a lot less money. Now, if we take a look at cumulative principal and cumulative interest on column 3 and column 4, we would pay this loan down by, on line 12, $1,833.90, and the bank would want us to pay $9,729.30 in interest to do that. $9,700 in interest just to pay the loan down by $1,833. Well, that's a ridiculous amount of money, isn't it?
Right.
All right. So what if we take a look at this $1,833.90? Do we have to pay that in 12 monthly installments, or could we pay it all at one time?
If somebody has it, yeah. They can
Yeah.
pay it all.
If we have it, we could pay it all at one time and be paid down to line 12 in just 1 month.
Right.
What would happen to all the interest payments between line 2 and line 12?
They would disappear.
So you would save $8,922.93 in interest to pay the bank the exact same amount of money. For $8,900 less interest. Do you like those apples?
Absolutely.
All right. Now let's take a look at this 1833, because this is important. We're going to focus in on that. Now that's at the higher interest rate. At the higher interest rate, look how tiny my principal payments are.
Mm-hmm.
At the lower interest rate of 2.99 on the same amount of money, look at my principal payments now. I'm scrolling down, and the principal payments start out at $269. So now I got to pay $269, $270, $271 to do the exact same thing I was doing before. When you lower the interest rate, you make it harder to pay the loan off faster. So now remember that other amount where we were paying $1,833.90 and it knocked off a year's worth of payments?
Right.
Look what $1,800 does here.
Now,
Only 7 months.
yeah, no, I see now it makes sense now looking at it. And so for those of you that might be in the room, if you're not watching it live, this may make no sense to you, but if you're watching him do it on this computer live, it makes total sense. So now I see how the higher interest rate was more beneficial because you paid off those principal payments, which was a lot less, which then gave you your kickback on the back end versus the front end.
Dr. Amy, you see, interest payments you skip don't matter, no matter how big they are. I love that. So if you have a credit card, all right, at 7% interest, okay, and so somebody online says, thanks for asking that question, Dr. Amy. This is mind blowing. They said that online on YouTube. So listen. So what if you have a credit card at 7% and you charge it up? All right. Let's say you put $2,000 on it, but you pay the $2,000 off in a month. How much interest did you pay if you pay it all off?
Repeat the question. Are you talking from this chart right here?
Oh, no. I'm just saying in general. You have a credit card with a zero balance.
Okay.
Right? You put $2,000 on it, but you pay off the $2,000 next month. How much interest did you pay? Zero. That's at 7%. How much interest would you pay if it was 15%?
Say it again. If it was 15%,
instead of 7,
you would have saved 15% if you paid it all off.
But how much interest would you pay? Would you pay any interest
on the $2,000?
Because if you paid it off, would you pay any interest?
No.
Okay. What if it was 30%? Answer
No.
still no?
Yeah, the answer's still no.
50%?
The answer's still no.
So it doesn't matter what the interest rate is if you're not going to pay the interest, does it?
True.
Interest payments skipped don't matter. So if people point out that you have a higher interest payment with the higher interest rate, but you skip the interest payments, they don't matter.
Got it.
Got it? So don't look at the interest rate. Look at the interest you end up paying. And what's going to put you in a better position to save on the interest is having a lower principal payment so you can take advantage of the system before the system takes advantage of you.
Got it.
Does that make sense, Dr. Amy?
It makes sense.
This is why we're teaching this. This is why we are here. This is why we're doing what we're doing, to make sure people can know the truth of the matter. All right? Dr. Amy, do you have another question for us?
Let me see.
Get it while it's free, folks. Get it while it's free.
Right. I've been asking. So yes. So when the person has the high, okay, so now say that they're backwards. They have this low interest rate, or they're at the end of the mortgage, right? So we've calculated at the $69,000 mark that, hey, your principal now, there's a lot probably going more to the principal than it is the interest. So would you suggest them still pay some of those principal ones, even though they're higher and the interest is really low, or don't even worry about it? And like you said, shift that money and just take it somewhere else because it's not worth it.
So you have to actually do the math to find out whether it's going to be worth it or not. We're so used to people giving us blanket statements and say, do this instead of that, without the numbers involved. When it comes to mortgages, I could give you an answer that sounds good, but if I don't give you the numbers that support that answer, don't accept it. Remember, you just said, folks, if you could see the numbers, it makes all the difference in the world.
Yeah, it did.
Okay. So when people give us advice and they don't give us the numbers, how can we trust the advice and we can't see the numbers? Don't do it. Find out how it's going to work for you. There is no rule of thumb that works for everybody in all situations, especially when it comes to finances. Dr. Amy, I just so appreciate you asking that question because you just helped out a ton of people. Stop listening to the Dave Ramseys and the Susie Ormans and the Gene Chatskys and whoever else is giving financial advice without giving you the numbers to support their position. I don't care how famous they are. If they don't give you the numbers to support their position, listen, you know what? Let me give you a great example of that. I just heard, anybody heard of Grant Cardone?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, David, you're here. We can hear you now.
Finally, David.
You're going to be next. You're going to be next. So, folks, Grant Cardone was saying he has never, ever paid credit card interest ever. Okay. But he uses bank money to purchase his properties and he pays interest on that. You follow me? He pays off his credit cards every single month. And a lot of people do that, and they're very proud of the fact that they do that, correct? So let me put something on here for you, folks. I'm going to put, let's see, 3,000 on a credit card. Okay, let me see here. Let's see here. We're going to put, all right, this one. We're going to put $1,833.90 on a 30% credit card. So we're $1,833.90. All right, we're going to duplicate the tab. and we're going to put 1833.90 on a credit card. All credit cards are amortized over 240 months. And we're going to put it in at 30%. Right, there we go. Now, who wants to pay 30% on a credit card? Anybody?
Nobody.
Nobody. All right. So let's take a look at paying off the credit card of $1,833.90. And we want to just go ahead and pay that off, don't we, Dr. Amy? So we won't pay 30% interest?
Correct.
Let me show you how much interest you would save on that. The interest payment is $45.85. So if we paid off that $1,833.90 in 1 month, we save $45.85, don't we?
Correct.
Grant Cardone says, I pay off my credit cards every single month. So if I had a credit card for $1,833.90, I'm going to pay that off so I don't pay credit card interest. I'm going to save that $45.85. But you know what he would ignore? He would ignore this. If he had this mortgage at 6.25 and he paid $1833.90 on this mortgage, he would knock a year's payment off this mortgage. And how much interest would he save here? Like $9,000?
$1,000.
Does it make sense to save $45 when you could take the same money and save $9,000?
No.
I don't care how famous they are. If they give you advice and they don't show you the numbers, it may sound good, but this is a terrible mistake. It's not a small mistake. It's a terrible mistake to save $45 when you could have saved $9,000. Flame, help me out here. Oh, I'm getting so excited. Are you still in the building?
Yeah, I'm over here looking at I'm over here at ice10kvideos.com. You see what I'm saying? While I was over there at ice10kvideos.com, I was watching you as you was putting those numbers up, and I was seeing the difference of it. Listen, you guys that's in here right now, I want you guys to understand something. We got 28 shares in this room, right? See, this information is not in our neighborhood. You know why? Because people don't share the information. Now is your time right now. It's like your time. Like everybody can do their part. What we do understand is Mr. Ice has done his part. He's gave us the information. That's true. We can't deny that. So what our job is to do now is to share the information so others can know it as well. How do we share the information? Go to the bottom, hit the share button, and put it in your hallway. So the friends that are looking for you and they're seeing what rooms you're in, they want to follow over, right? Also, put this on your other search engines. There's somebody right now, I don't know who they are, right? But they're looking for you on your Facebook or your Twitter pages. They don't know where you at. By you sharing this room, maybe they themselves may want to jump on Clubhouse to see the information that you actually are achieving. So let's do that right now. Let's go to the bottom. Let's hit the share button. Let's put it out there for others to receive it as well. Hey, listen, I don't understand how you guys are not excited about the information that he just said. You got one guy who actually who is saving money on credit cards, right? But he's saving money on credit cards, not understanding, right? By utilizing it in a different format, which would be the homes, he'll save even more. And Mr. Don just shared it with us. He didn't just say it with his words out of his mouth. He showed us. And he showed us at ice10kvideos.com. I'm going to say that once again for anybody that's listening to my voice. If you're listening to my voice, right, whether you in the, hey, listen, I get it. You're trying to turn down the volume. You don't want nobody to hear this. Now wake them up. Wake them up because you probably understand that the home that you're living in right now, that you're paying too much right now for the home. Listen, go to ice10kvideos.com. Once again, we're at ice10kvideos.com. Back to you, Mr. Don.
All right, Flame. Listen, folks, Dr. Aim, thank you so much for coming to the stage. And I hope you're complete.
Absolutely. Great information. Thank you. Great insight. I'm going to be tapping in to see what else you have to offer, so that maybe we can get together and take a look and see where I could save some money.
All right, all right. So what you want to do, folks, is this: go to click on my link above, and you'll see how to get a savings and earnings report. All right, and then follow the directions on getting a savings and earnings report, especially the direction that's right above the cell phone number. Put the cell phone number in. If you read those directions, we want to send you a code as a text message. Click confirm, wait for the text message, get the code from the text message and put it back into the website. And then click on yes, I want to save, and that will let you into the financial form. Put in all of your financial data, completely fill it out, because we're doing something special until the 18th of this month. Everyone who qualifies, and all you need is to have a mortgage, between one mortgage and 10 mortgages. If you fill this out completely with all of your financial data, we will take $1,000 off our lifetime program. Okay? $1,000 off. And you'll never pay another dime for this system for the rest of your life. It's a lifetime program, and we're going to take $1,000 off, all because we went over 10K followers last Wednesday. So we're giving away 10K over 10 days, $10,000. So there, I have two people have taken advantage of this already since Wednesday. Are you going to be next? Put in your information, then we'll take $1,000 off. 10K in 10 days. All right. Fill out the information and save for the rest of your life. Run all the mortgages through, and then save yourself some money. We got Mr. David coming up next, but I just wanted to point out that somebody on put in the chat, why would anybody pay off a mortgage when they could invest? I want to make sure I handle that question before I leave today. And we're going to be done at 9 o'clock, and it's 8:22. So let's handle the questions that's on the stage. David, how are you doing, man? What's up?
I'm doing well, Don. It's been a few times I've tried to use my phone to talk, and it doesn't work. So I had to jump on my computer.
All right. So
I'm here now.
All right.
And
you got a question for us?
Yes, I did, but you answered it when you were taking care of Dr. Amy.
Okay.
So I'm thankful for Dr. Amy for asking a question, but basically it would give you a summary of it.
Yes.
I was talking to my son, and he said he's in college. He doesn't have a mortgage or anything, but he is, in his mind, he said it's easier if I had the money, I'll just pay off the loan, even if it's zero interest, which is what we were talking about. If you have a zero interest loan, there's no benefit for you to paying it off early. And so maybe my question would be, what is the rationale for that, in terms, because I understand it intellectually, and I understand it, it's like, yeah, if you have 0%, there is no benefit. But he's saying, well, I could take that money and invest it somewhere else. So
okay, let's talk about that for a second. So there's two things that you just brought up, okay? 0% interest loans, okay? And investing, keeping low interest loans and investing money. So we're going to talk about both of those right now. And then we have a couple of other people on the stage. We got Credit Goddess that came in. We got Coffee Brown who came in. We have probably two more questions with Miss Rosalind and Miss Janelle. Folks, we're going to get to your questions. So let's take care of this first for Mr. David. And then David, so you talked about 0% interest credit cards, something like that?
Yes.
Zero. So here's the thing. I've had this client in California, and when we stop to ask good questions, it starts to make better sense. So how many of us have received those credit card offers at 0% for 12 or 18 months? All right. And then we say, well, we have to pay off the loan before the 12 months. in order so that we don't have to pay the accrued interest. Okay. So I had a guy in California. He actually is one of my clients. And we were in the computer system, and he wanted to raise the minimum payment so he could be done in 12 months. And I said, why do you want to do that? He says, because if I don't pay it off in 12 months, all the interest that I could have been paying comes due all at once. So they will accrue all of the interest and hit him at one time. If he doesn't pay it off in 12 months, it all becomes due on the 13th month. I said, okay, how much interest are you trying to avoid? He said 17%. I said, no. How much interest in dollars and cents are you trying to avoid? Guess what he said, David?
I don't know.
Exactly. That's exactly what he said. I don't know. I said, you're trying to make financial moves to avoid a certain amount of money that you don't want to have to pay, but you don't know how much money you're trying to avoid. Okay. He had $5,000 on that credit card, and he was trying to pay it all off in the year. I said, why don't you just give them a call and find out how much interest they want you to pay? All right. And he says, oh, so he called them, and he came back. When he came back, he says, okay, let's change it back to the minimum payment. I said, well, why is that? He said, because I found out how much they were going to charge me. And I said, how much is that? He said, $300. $300 he was trying to avoid. $300. So even on this mortgage, now he's in California, okay, where his mortgage was $900,000. Okay, I'm just going to show what would happen. I'm just going to show what happened on this $156,000 at 6.25. Okay, if we put $5,000 on this loan, okay, it saves him $25,000 in interest. So, folks, while we're rushing to pay off free money, somebody gives me free money, I'm not rushing to pay it off. Okay. So, yeah, you'll hit me with a $300 charge, but I'm going to take your money and put it on my mortgage instead and save 25 grand and knock off 32 months on this mortgage. Do you see what we're talking about here?
Yeah.
Okay, that's number one. The next thing is somebody asked the question that you just asked, why pay off a cheap mortgage when you could be investing the money? Okay, why pay off a cheap mortgage when you could be investing the money? So that's a real estate investor question, and we're going to handle that right now. So on the screen right now, folks, I have a real estate investor with 2 mortgages. His mortgage payments are $14,000 a month, but he's cash flowing $41,000 a month, over $41,000. Okay. And so it says, why take any of this money when I'm making so much money? Why pay down the loan? And so here's what I need folks to focus on. The P.I.L.L method does not focus on paying off mortgages. I will repeat that. The P.I.L.L method does not focus on paying off mortgages. What the P.I.L.L method focuses on is getting your mortgage cheaper. How to borrow money at a discount. Not paying off the mortgage faster, but paying it off cheaper. Okay, so look at the amount of interest that you're paying. All right, and then see if you could do better than that. So here's what he was talking about before he read my book and gave me a call. He says, I'm making this much money on these loans. All right, I'm making this much money on these loans, and I'm borrowing the money, but my tenants, because it's a commercial building, are paying me over $41,000 a month, but I pay $14,000 a month on the mortgages. So I'm making pretty good money. But let's take a look at this. Okay. Here is one of the loans where he's paying, in 2 months, he paid it down by $7,374.92. But it cost him $4,609.08 in interest to do that. The reason why he doesn't care about, well, he didn't care about how much interest he was paying before is because his tenants are paying the bill. He's not, the tenants are. And so on this other loan, his SBA loan, which was over $1 million, okay, and it's in 37 months because he's just making the minimum payments because the tenants are paying the bill. He paid this loan down by $99,795.91, but it cost $222,000 in interest, and he never looked at it that way before. So I had to ask him, sir, you now have $99,000 in equity. You've increased your property value by $99,000, but it cost you $222,000 in interest to do that. Is that how you want to spend your money? I asked him, when you receive your rent checks, how much of that money is yours when you receive it? He said, it's all mine. I then asked him, how much of it do you want to keep? As much as I possibly can. Do you think now that some of that $200,000 you could have saved and not given $222,000 to the bank so you could pay off your loan by $99,000? He said, yeah, he could do that. He could do that. Let me show you at the end of the story, and then we'll go back to the beginning. Here's the end of the story. All right, where he is now. The bank wants him to pay $1,123,195 in interest to pay off $2 million worth of debt in 21.9 years. I'm going to show him how he could be on track. He may not do it all, but he can be on track. He can pay $243,000 instead of a $1.1 million and pay off in 4.9 years. Take the $800,000 in interest savings, invest that, and turn it into $9,699,000. So real estate investors, folks, real estate investors are leaving millions of dollars on the table, not hundreds of thousands, millions of dollars because of the extra interest that they are paying. All right. So now I'm going to put just one of the loans on the screen. All right. And then show the people who are asking, why pay off these loans when we can invest the money? And I'm going to show you what we did for him. All right. I'm going to put one of his loans on the screen. So we're going to change screens here. All right. And we're going to minimize this. I'm going to put we're going to go ahead and save that. All right, now I'm going to put this information in. All right, so his payment right now, we can bring it back up. We can bring his payment on. Do we have it on? Can we see that? Hold on for just a second, because I blocked off my screen and I can't see. All right, there we go. All right, so let me put this over here so I can see. There we are. All right. So we're going to put in here his mortgage payment on one of the mortgages. All right. Come on, let's get this down. All right. His mortgage payment is $8,704. Okay. And it's at 5%. And it's at 300 payments instead of, okay. There we go. And now we get to see, we're going to delete that, and we're going to see his mortgage is $1,488,906.65. That's just one of his mortgages. All right. And the question was asked by someone in the chat, why pay off a mortgage when you can invest the money? And this is exactly what this gentleman says. I'm making over $41,000 a month, Don. I want to reinvest my money. I don't want to use my money to pay off the mortgage. I want to invest that money. I said, great. You don't have to. Keep investing at the same rate. Well, then how am I going to save? I said, okay. Are you investing all of the money? Are you reinvesting all of the money that you're bringing in? He says, no. I said, what are you doing with the rest of it? He says, about $6,000 a month I'm putting away in a reserve fund for so I can do maintenance and repairs on my buildings. $6,000 a month out of that money goes into a reserve fund. I said, great. Keep on investing the way you've been investing. All right. Keep on buying those doors. Keep on getting those properties the way that you're doing it now. Use that money so that you can make money. But how much money is that money making over in that savings account where you're keeping your money to do the repairs? Now this guy's got a lot of money. He's got a lot of money. He had about $100,000 in that account. So let's take a look at his loan just for the first year. Just for the first year. Just for the first year. I need you to see this. Okay. He had $2,500 going to principal, $6,000 going to interest every single month because the tenants were paying the rent. In the first year, he paid this thing down by $30,699, but look how much interest is paid out to get that equity. $73,748. Folks, isn't that $100,000 paid out in 1 year just to get $30,000 in equity? Isn't it?
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
So here's what we're talking about, David. I said, now I didn't give him my program yet. I just showed him an example. My program tells you exactly how much to pay and when. So you tell us what parameters you want to use. We'll show you how to save money while you're making money with your other money. So we're not telling them to stop investing. You just tell us what to work with. All right. So I said, what if you took some money out of that $100,000 that's sitting in the bank making 1/10 of 1%? What if you took 30 grand out? Well, specifically $30,699.86 that I'm showing on the screen right now. And if you want to see this, go to ice10kvideos.com, ice10kvideos.com, and you can see what we're talking about when people talk to you about why pay off a mortgage when you could invest the money. Okay? Because when you borrow money at 5%, it ain't 5%. When you borrow money at 5%, it ain't 5%. In fact, when you take a look at this thing, I'm pulling it up here so you can actually see. This 5% really means the bank wants 75% of what he borrowed in the form of interest. 5% on this loan becomes 75% of what you borrowed. It's very expensive. 5% ain't 5. 5% is 75. Okay. So when we scroll back down to see what happens in 1 year, so I asked him, what if you borrowed $30,000 from yourself, 30 grand from yourself, and put it on this loan? Would you be paid down to right here in 1 month, down to line 12 in 1 month? Yeah, I would. Because if you give it to the bank in 12 monthly installments, every time you give them an installment of $2,500, you got to give them 6 grand. But if you give them the whole $30,699 all at one time, you're paid down to here in 1 month. And remember, the interest payments you skip don't matter. So he's skipping interest payments between line 2 and line 12 get skipped. So he's paid down to here in 1 month. So it didn't cost him $73,748.14 to make it down to line 12. It only cost him $6,203.78. I'm not talking about paying the loan off fast. I'm talking about paying it off cheap. We're not here to pay off loans. Come on, talk to me.
I don't know if you guys got that right. So not paying the loan off fast, but paying the loan off cheap. How much is that? Listen, this information that's in this room right now is powerful. But one thing about it is it does you no good when you just have it yourself. The prospect of sharing this information is what's out there. We got 38 shares in a room. I want everybody mic on mute right this moment, and I need to get to 50 shares. We're not coming. Mr. Don is not going to be able to say nothing else out of his mouth until we get to 50 shares, right? We need 50 shares in this room. I'm about to go on mute. I need to get to 50 shares. We can't even move until we get to 50.
All right, listen, we got 20 minutes left, folks. We got 20 minutes left in this room where you can actually see the examples. The examples go away in 20 minutes. I might be able to stay a little bit online with you on Clubhouse, but the examples go away in 20 minutes. So let's make the best out of this. And here's how we dealt with this, folks. And Flame, we're up to 41 shares. We're up to 41 shares, David. So come on, keep sharing the room. So I said to him, if we take $30,000 and place it on this loan, $30,699.86, can you now justify, based on what you used to know, can you now justify paying $100,000, over $100,000 in 1 year to pay this loan down to $30,000 when you could have just borrowed the money from yourself out of a savings account and applied it all at one time? And only paid $6,000 in interest instead of $73,000. He said, I can no longer justify that, even though I have tenants paying the rent. That's just too much money to give away. Now that you borrowed the $30,000 from yourself, sir, let's just wait until you pay yourself back until you do it again. Okay? I don't want you to put money on there every month. Just wait till yourself pay yourself back. How long is it going to take at $6,000 a month? How long is it going to take to put that money back in that savings account? He said 5 months. I said 5 months from now, could you put another 30 grand on here? Knock off another year? Save yourself another 70 grand in interest? You see, folks, for those folks that say, I don't want to pay off a loan when I could invest the money, we're not looking at paying off the loan. We're looking at making the loan cheaper so you can have more money to invest. Keep on investing. But that $1 million that the bank wants so that you can keep investing, that's too much money to give them. See, people look at that as the cost of doing business. And I'm saying, let's lower the cost of doing business, get the same asset, get your same equity at $900,000 less, and invest the $900,000 you would have given the bank and turn it into $9 million. Stop leaving the money on the table. That's the old way of thinking. So, folks, if this is what you're talking about, where does this information come from? Where does this information come from? Folks, I have a book that this information is contained in. It's been a #1 best-selling book 5 times on Amazon. Okay? Listen, if no one talks about this. No one is talking about this. How much interest we're paying and how we don't have to pay it. We can invest and make money. We can save interest at a phenomenal rate and invest the money that we save as well. We can get our property much cheaper when we take a look at saving the interest. Get the book, folks. And once you get the book, you can get a 10K card that goes along with it. You like my 10K card? You like my digital business card? How would you like to have one? I'll pay for it. Okay. So get the book and get a 10K card that goes along with it. So once you get the book, Kenyatta, how are they going to get their 10K card? Kenyatta might be on the phone. Okay. So we got it on the screen, folks. If you want to file, just click on the link above. Click on the link above, ice10kvideos.com. You can follow step 1, 2, and 3. And then what you'll do is you will upload your receipt. Just follow the directions 1, 2, and 3. All right. Upload your receipt, take a picture of it and upload it. And then we make sure and follow all the directions. How do you want us to contact you back with your card? And you'll get a 10K card if you upload your screenshot of your receipt after you purchase the book. All right. That's #1. #2 is if you want to know what I'm told this gentleman, how to save this money, how to get his equity and continue to invest, but save $900,000 in interest at the same time. Oh my gosh. If you want to be able to do stuff like that, then go to the 10K card and find the button that says get a savings and earnings report. Get your savings and earnings report. Fill out all the information, follow all the directions, and you will be able to get $1,000 off your program. $1,000 off. It's a lifetime program. You'll never pay again, but you might as well get $1,000 off if you're never going to pay again. And guess what? Whatever you pay for the program is tax deductible if you're a real estate investor. So you're going to win 3 times. You're going to win by getting $1,000 off. You're going to win by it becoming tax deductible, and you're going to win because you're going to have a program for the rest of your life, saving money on interest you never have to pay. And then 4 times, because now you're going to invest that money and turn it into millions of dollars when instead of giving it to the bank. All right. So we have 2 more people on here to ask them.
Thank you so much, Don. Thank you so much.
You're welcome, David. You're welcome. So Miss Roslyn, are you there?
Yes, I am, Mr. Don. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning to you. So, do you have a question for us this morning?
Yeah, I'm going back to really basic, right? Because I kind of like lost the process.
Okay.
And I want to continue it. I don't know if you remember, but I popped into one of your rooms one day. I was booked for something else, but I had to come in excitedly and say to you that I received a letter stating that I made a principal payment only.
Okay.
And it excited me, right? So I'm dropping in this morning. No lack of respect. I have a room that runs into the time of your room, so I was able to come in at the end of that room.
Yes.
I just need to know, what did I do? When did I make that payment? Was it the end of the statement date? The end of the statement date?
Okay.
The end statement. Yeah. Because I want to make, and I have been able to, Mr. Don. I'll say this, of course, through your tutelage. I have been able to designate extra payments to my principal only.
Right.
And I've been doing that consistent.
Okay.
But I haven't received a letter. And I just wanted to know, what was that basic rule that we were following, where we can make a payment and then make that extra payment for principal payment on some of the credit card.
All right. Here's the basic rule. Once you've made a complete mortgage payment, any money you put on in the same month can go to principal. But you have to make a complete mortgage payment first. Then any money you put on after that goes to principal. It's as simple as that. But what we want to know, Dr. Roslyn, is how much money you want to save in interest by moving the right amount of money at the right time.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a little. It's more than just putting extra money on. We want to save. We want to get the biggest bang for your buck, right?
Yes.
So do you want to save some interest every time you do this, or do you want to save the maximum amount of interest with the least amount of money?
Well, I'm blessed that I don't have a mortgage, so my house is mortgage free.
Right.
However, I do have credit cards from being on Flame and Kelly and yourself, and
Right.
and applying credit. Goddess that's here. I've been applying principles that I have been learning for the last year.
Right.
So my thing now is, I was looking at 2 things, and I'll come back on tomorrow or when you have your next group and try to get on to ask questions. I want to know, what's the smart move for me to take equity out of my house and maybe buy another house.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
Is that a room by itself, Mr. Don?
Oh, listen.
I'm so glad she asked that question.
That is so good.
Credit, that was you, credit guy.
No, this is Dr. Amy. I'm so glad you asked that question, because one of my properties he actually just did the numbers on it. Like, we were working through the math, and there's so much equity in the house, like almost $400,000-$500,000 that I've never touched. And so I can't wait to hear this question.
I know. Well, I tell you what, my room normally ends at 8 o'clock Central Time, and I'll see how it conflict. But what I'll do is make arrangements that somebody else can take my room over in the morning. And are you here in the morning, Mr. Don?
I'll be back here on Wednesday. Be back here on Wednesday again.
Okay.
We're gonna be doing it all over again. So here's the
Okay,
thing.
great. What I'll do is make arrangements for somebody to take over my room on Wednesday morning,
hmm
and I'll come in. And I know you don't have much time, so I'll wait until Wednesday and see and seek that out, because there's a lot right next door to me. I would like to control who's on my block.
I got you, sister. I got you. So I'll give you a quick answer. We had one quick question online. It says Amazon Kindle does not provide me a receipt because they bought my Kindle. Just take, because you do have a library. Take a picture of the book in your library and send that. We'll take that as a receipt. Okay. So let's go ahead and put that in the chat online so we can get that answer done. All right. So Miss Rosalind, here's the thing you want to know. All right. It was just I won't go into great detail, but what you can do is take that money out of your equity and invest it. What we're going to do is show you how to set up the loan to pay it back so it saves you even more money. I love getting that cash out refi, okay? But one of the things you're going to do when you do your cash out refi, never, ever, 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 two things: never buy down the rate. Don't do it. And sometimes, because you can pay extra to get a lower interest rate. Never do that. Number two, never pay the closing fee out of pocket. Roll it into the loan and then pay the closing fees off in 1 month. It may knock off as much as 2 years off the loan. Never. So pay the closing fees off in 1 month. Sometimes it knocks 1.5 years to 2 years off. Bam, right off the bat. So those are a couple of things. And then I'll help you to run the rest of the numbers. But yes, borrow that money. You see, some real estate investors are never out of debt. That's not their goal. We want to just use the money cheaper so that we can get equity faster, so that we can cash out refi 7 to 10 years sooner at a much lower interest cost, so we can keep reusing that money faster and cheaper, and building our real estate empire at a phenomenal rate. Oh my gosh. Once you understand this system, you stop borrowing money at retail and get your money at wholesale. All right, Miss Janelle, are you there?
I am, sir. Thank you so much for the wealth of information. Hi, Flame. Hi, everyone. You actually answered my question. Ms. Rosalind just asked exactly the same question I was going to ask, which was, taking out the equity out of one property and purchasing something else. So thank you. And I'm getting a book.
Yes, get the book. Listen, folks, when it comes to real estate investing, I can think of only one good reason to refi. That is to take cash out. You may never be out of debt. That doesn't matter. But you're going to be able to acquire your assets at a much lower cost. Get that equity faster and cheaper by stop making the bank rich. And how do I know that we can do this? Because what's good for the goose is good for the gander. Who borrows the most money in your town? Who borrows the most money in your town? Anybody? Who borrows the most money?
The bank.
The bank.
The government?
Nope, the bank. The bank borrows the most money in your town. Who has the biggest buildings downtown? And whose money do they borrow, folks? Whose money do they borrow?
From us.
They borrow from us. And what do they do with the money that they borrow from us?
They invest it.
And make billions and trillions of dollars with it.
All kind of money on it, Don.
Come on, all kind of money on it.
All these money babies.
And how much do they pay us for the use of our money?
You almost made me cuss, Don.
0.001%.
Come on, folks. Can we do the same thing? Can we borrow their money at a much lower cost and invest the money and make a huge profit with their money if we know what we're doing? Come on. This is why we're giving away 10K in 10 days. 10K in 10 days. All right, folks, we got 5 minutes left. I want to go over some of the basics, and then we're going to let the folks go online, and then we're going to come back and do some more intros and outros online so you can follow these fabulous moderators on stage. Ms. Rosalind, you tricked me changing your PTR.
I know I did, but look, that just remind me of the younger me. You know what I'm saying? But now you have the wiser me as an attorney, and so you know that's better, Mr. Don.
Okay.
That's how I look. It's what I know and how I can be of help and get help. You have blessed me so much, Mr. Don. I'm just gonna say this for your audience. I know you're on timing. Mr. Don showed me at a convention, invest in conventions and yourself. But I fell in love with Mr. Don. Not that he became my client, my legal client, but you know when I fell in love with Mr. Don?
What's that?
When he showed me the value of a penny. Oh my God. Mr. Don can show you, I mean, a real penny. That copper 1 cent has value. And when he did that, he blew my mind. Smart me, Mr. Attorney, thinks she know everything. No, Mr. Don will show you the value of a penny.
All right, folks.
Stay around. Keep coming back.
All right,
Thank
folks.
you,
I want everybody to hang out here for just a minute. But first of all, I want to go over. Listen, we have some valuable information here. You've shared the room. You're at 48. Let's get it up to 2 more. Get some folks in here for our outro and any other information that I can go over. You have learned some valuable stuff today. All right. That is only being taught here in at the P.I.L.L method, but we're sharing it with the Black Think Tank Club today. And I want to thank the Black Think Tank Club. But get my book. Get the book. It is the only, out of 33 million titles on Amazon, is the only one that gives you the basic information that we're talking about. Get the book today. Number 2, get a savings and earnings report, because on July 18, Monday the 18th of this month, the $1,000 goes away if I haven't given away all $10,000. Okay. I'm giving away 10K in 10 days. 2 people have already taken advantage of it. Will the next one be you? Fill out the information correctly the first time, because if we have to send it back, you go to the bottom of the queue. Ooh. Fill it out right the first time so that you can keep your space and make sure you're one of the last 8 to get your $1,000 off your program. All right. So now, now that's said, we're going to hear from a person who's actually paid his mortgage off in just 4 years. Dr. Eric Thomas. Yes, it's your boy E.T., our latest celebrity endorsing, and we're going to say goodbye to you online. And thank you so very much for being here. Jump back into Clubhouse so you can hear the rest of the story. Goodbye, everybody online.
Listen to me, y'all. But one of his mentees took us through one of their programs, and I paid off my mortgage. But guess what happened? My marriage went to a whole nother level. And you know why? Because my wife is a security freak. And even when I blew up, my wife would be like, oh, you blew up, but how long is you gonna keep making this kind of money? I was like, I don't know, forever. She's like, you sure? Because I'm gonna keep my license as a nurse just in case you don't. So when I paid the house off, my boy was like, you ain't gotta do that, you can do this. But when I paid the house off using that program, it took the stress level all the way down for my wife because we no longer had a mortgage. Does that make sense? That thing that was coming every month, that was getting on her nerves, we didn't have that no more. And so she was at rest.